And now for a woman whose heart is as golden as the stones of Jerusalem, Norma Levine. And I'm very privileged to present this to you. Israel Bonds presented to Norma Levine in recognition of outstanding Israel Bond leadership, June 7, 2016. Mazel tov.
Thank you so much, Rob. So, shall I speak from here? Can you hear me okay?
Yes.
How about now?
No.
Well, I don't know who they were talking about, but it sounded pretty good. Thank you to everybody who has come tonight. Oh, sorry. I keep telling my singers to sing into the mic. Thank you, everyone, for coming. I'm so touched by this wonderful audience from the people from CJUI, a whole table's worth of them. Wonderful to see you, Fumio. It's been such a long time. He's our former president. So I, unlike everyone else, am going to follow my own speech. My own. This is something new for me. So, first of all, thank you so much to Temple Emeth and Israel Bonds I'm so overwhelmed and touched by this wonderful honor. I walked into Temple Emeth badly in need of comfort in 1984. My father had just passed away, and my brother David and I started coming here to say Kaddish. We were so devastated, and yet walking into Temple Emeth was like walking into the warmth of a new family. Harris Rosenthal, of blessed memory, took us under his wing as we took refuge in the daily minyan. He taught us about the service and praying. And I cannot tell you how moved I was when first meeting Rabbi Turitz. We had just come back from the funeral home, picking out a casket for my father, and we were to meet with him to discuss the eulogy. This was quite the lowest I had ever felt, and the rabbi lifted me, if even momentarily. He made such a big deal out of the fact that I'm a musician, and he made me feel so special. I will never forget that rabbi. He was sweet and charismatic. He made us laugh at this very rough time. It has been a great pleasure to know you all these years. I believe in God very strongly, and that he works in miraculous, large and small ways. One very large way was bringing us to Temple Emeth, my brother and I, which has been such a strong part of my life ever since, with the unbelievably sweet, warm, giving, wonderful congregants. Also, with all the involvement I've had here in so many musical, spiritual, and personal, social ways. I learned how to accompany services by listening to Mari Blaiwas, of blessed memory, our musical director, the undeniable best of the best. He was, of course, a lovely, wonderful person, and his music went straight to my heart. The beauty and subtlety of his harmonies gave me something so special to emulate. I still have them in my head. And his compositions were gorgeous, and we use many of them to this day. He was very good with words and quite a gentleman. I always felt that had he been younger, I would have married him. Gennady Konikov has been a wonderful musical director and organist, and also leader of the choir for many years for Temple Emeth, and his compositions are absolutely gorgeous and very special. It's a joy to have such music to worship with. I'd also like to mention Cantor Candler of blessed memory, who I love and miss very much. He and I did many musical projects together, including making recordings of extremely touching Yiddish songs from the Holocaust, as only he could sing, that have been played over and over on the Yiddish radio show. He was a rarity and a true tzaddik. Everyone loved him. And he worked until he was 100 years old. Wow. And what a voice. Speaking of exquisite voices, I must mention Cantor Michael, who has been such a joy to know, to learn from, to work with, and to listen to. I was greatly influenced by my very dear friend, Cantor Rick Boyer, who someone mentioned, I don't remember who it was, of blessed memory, with whom I worked on very many musical and creative projects. Rick's example was what led me to learn to daven and to learn Torah and Haftorah over the past several years since he passed away. Richard Gray got us started, Rick and I, writing and performing shows at Temple Emeth. And he has been a very strong force promoting and keeping me busy at various times with creative ideas and commissions. He has been very supportive and helped me to develop this part of my musical and my creative repertoire. Phil Platko has also kept me busy, especially the past couple of weeks, and has been a very charismatic and talented leader and performer. I have a great deal of admiration for his many talents and what a wonderful person he is, and his devotion to our synagogue and to Israel. And I must mention May Long. the passionate and tireless President Emeritus and founder of CJUI in 2004. Yay! And I mentioned Fumio Taku, who was our next president, who was amazing. And I want to mention Ray Hanna, who is now our amazing president. Very handsome. I can't tell you where my very strong feelings for Israel and Judaism come from. This is something instinctive that goes beyond my understanding. I just know that this is my family, my community, my people, my ancestral homeland. And watching the world systematically turning against us is beyond my capacity to handle. I know that I must do what I can to help counter this and protect her. What is beyond my understanding is, why is this happening? Israel is the only democracy in the Middle East, and her citizens are thriving. Israel represents tolerance of others and assistance to people in need all over the world. So why is there so much anti-Israel sentiment? We remember the Holocaust, and we see anti-Semitism rising everywhere, including many more instances of it here in the US, as the rabbi was telling. For the most part, the media is clearly biased against Israel, often framing knifing and car-ramming murderous attacks that have been going on within the past several months against Israelis in ludicrous and outrageous ways to make Israelis look like the attackers and the attackers look like the victims. You know the routine. Palestinian shot dead after fatal stabbing in Jerusalem. 2 Israeli victims also killed. Israeli troops kill driver of rammed car. So there was somebody ramming a car into them, and they talked about the driver being killed by the Israeli troops. One can see what's going on and being taught by some folks in the universities and now in the high schools and even in the elementary schools. Jewish students are at higher risk these days, especially if they show support for Israel. We must all work to counter these threats. It's important for everybody, not just the Jews, because the Jews come first. BDS and J Street want to take Israel down, even though the people within these organizations are usually highly educated and feel that they mean well. I strongly disagree with them. Harming Israel won't bring the peace that they seek. So what can we do? I encourage contacting elected officials, making phone calls, writing letters to celebrities who are targeted by BDS and J Street, educating people about all of the good that Israel does, and becoming active in supporting pro-Israel groups such as CJUI, Camera, Stand With Us, Americans for Peace and Tolerance, and the like. Join the Israel boycott, which was mentioned by Alice, which is to buy plenty of Israeli products and let the store owners know why you are doing so, asking to have plenty of Israeli products available. Withhold donations from your alma mater and let them know why. When you hear something objectionable, don't be afraid to challenge, to question, to educate. The most important thing is to let your voice be heard. And of course, we should all support Israel by buying Israel bonds. I want to thank you all for coming and for this wonderful honor. Thanks so much to our truly amazing Rabbi Turetz. In conclusion. Thanks to Richard Gray and Philip Platkow, who have always been so supportive and instrumental in my musical involvements here. I'd also like to thank the wonderful office staff, including Cynthia Levitt, who sang so beautifully tonight. Is it Abramov or Abramov? Abramov. Esty, thanks so much for all your help yesterday. And Phyllis Briskin. Many thanks and best wishes always to Dick McHugh. We are grateful indeed to Rabbi Aaron Fine for speaking to us tonight on the vicious anti-Semitism taking place at UMass, as well as campuses all over the U.S. and the world. Thank you also to Donna Barron, who isn't here tonight, Rabbi Fine's Director of Advancement. A very special thank you to Donna Carlson from Israel Bonds. It's been such a pleasure being involved in your wonderful annual events at Temple Emmett. And I'm almost done, guys. And last, actually this isn't last, I added another. And next, I want to thank, acknowledge, and send a huge hug to my musical group, the And Friends, part of Norma and Friends. The extremely talented and dedicated singers who have been so helpful and endured some very long and grueling rehearsals in the past couple of days. These beautiful vocalists include Cantor Michael McCloskey, our president Phil Platkow, Cheryl Schwartz, Harriet Kantorowicz, and Donna Podorewski. I want to thank my support group for this event, who have helped me in so many ways over the years, including my very dear friend Joshua Shapiro, who gave quite a speech tonight. My dear friends Laura Rosenthal, who sent the most beautiful letter, and Larry Sokrin, who has been my very best friend for years and years. And my brother David, last but not least. I'd also like to mention my older brother Stuart, who felt very badly not to be able to attend this evening. Much appreciation to my regular Saturday night Minion folks, who have shown such dedication and support. And thanks to my Temple Emmett family for this very kind recognition. Thank you all.
Many thanks and wonderful talk, Norma. So she did all of the thanks that I had planned. So there's one other thing that we need to do before we let you all go home.